Welcome to the Park City Market Talk webinar for January 2021. It's a brand new year, and I want to begin by wishing everyone a happy and healthy new year for 2021. Certainly has been challenging in 2020, but we are up in Park City and we are skiing and we are snowboarding at Park City Mountain Resort and Deer Valley. So do come up here and enjoy the outdoors here. We have COVID-19 protocols, but I've been out there a number of times. It's not bad. And so it's definitely great to be outdoors, fresh air, social distancing, and enjoying some outdoor activity. To this time of year that we typically will host the Sundance Film Festival, and we are again hosting it, but a bit different this time. Sundance is typically an 11-day event. It's been shortened due to the pandemic to a 7-day event. It begins on Thursday, January 28th, runs through Wednesday, February 3rd. It is a bit different in that this year it's going to be an online event portal. They're going to be streaming 70 new films and other programs. This is down from typically about 120 or so in previous years. But if you want some information, go to festival.sundance.org. You can purchase tickets. I think it's about $15. You see a lot of films, so don't need to come to Park City. You can still take in the latest and greatest documentaries and other films. So check that out. That's Sundance this year, 2021. Now, we're all very well acquainted with the coronavirus, too well acquainted. We've been wearing masks or not wearing masks, depending upon your preference, but this is a very tough time, and unfortunately it's going to continue into the new year, 2021. Fortunately, we are happy to report that there are several vaccines out there, which means there's help on its way. And while some people are ready to take them, can't take it soon enough, others are a little hesitant. We're moving in the right direction here. 2020, 2021. This is an important time for us to leap into a new year, experiencing a better outcome than we've been faced with. And in today's webinar, we're going to do two things. We're going to look back at what happened in Park City, particularly in the real estate market in 2020. Quite surprising, actually. And then make some predictions or forecasts as to what we expect will occur in 2021. To do this, I will first share statistics, as we typically do in our monthly webinars, so you can see what's been happening and why Park City has had a boom year in 2020 for Park City real estate. Then I'll share with you my predictions for the new year and have my team come on and respond to my thoughts, challenge them if you will. That's what we've got in store for you today. So we're finished with 2020. It's now time to start 2021. So let's see what happened in the Park City real estate market in 2020. Biggest surprise of all was we were hit with COVID-19 in March of 2020. It shut down the resorts, it shut down restaurants, it shut down the town. It became a ghost town. But much to everyone's surprise, it led to a boom in real estate. Let's look at the statistics. We've seen 2,039 sales in Park City over the last 12 months. That's homes, condominiums, and vacant land. That's all real estate brokerages combined, and that is up 624 sales, or 44% from the year before. It's important to realize that historically we have between 1,200 to 1,300 sales per year. Our market was rising before the pandemic hit. We were about 1,400, and that was very healthy. And now it's climbed another 600 sales because of the pandemic. People have chosen to work remotely in Park City to live the outdoor lifestyle, and our real estate market has been the beneficiary of that. This graph here shows us homes, condo, and lot sales. The red bars represent January through December of 2020. The silver bars January through December of 2019. So you can see the increase. The number of home sales up 48%, climbing from 552 to 815 home sales. 25% increase among condos, up to 936 from the previous year's 746. And then look at land, 146% increase from 117 lot sales to 288. Our market has been hot. This graph here shows us home sales, and I've broken it into the Park City area and the Snyderville Basin, both within the Park City School District. Number of sales up 61%, climbing from 183 to 294 sales in the city limits, and up from 369 to 521. It's a 41% increase in the Snyderville Basin. Properties have been purchased quickly. We have a limited supply. Looking at condominiums, we see a similar picture, a 22% increase in the city from 353 to 460, with 506 condo sales in the Snyderville Basin, up 29% from a year ago, 393 then. So a lot of condo sales. Well, if that's not enough, take a look at vacant land. In the city, 126% increase. Now that we have a lot of lots that sell, but we went from 19 to 43, so anybody could get a piece of land, bought land, and then you take that out to the Snyderville Basin, 150% increase in sales from 98 all the way to 245 transactions in 2020. So what does this mean? All these graphs point to the same message. Sales in every category went up, and went up in a big way. Now let's take a look at prices. Here we are at prices, and now we're looking at home medium sold prices for the same period. In the city limits, year over year, the appreciation was 27%. The new medium sold price for a home in the city limits, $2.5 million, was just below $2 million at $1,975,000 a year ago. 29% increase in the Snyderville Basin, climbing from $1,265,000 as a median price all the way up to $1,638,000. It almost doesn't seem like it's right because so many places have been so impacted negatively by the pandemic. But Park City has attracted people who want to live out the pandemic here. We'll talk about that a bit more. Condominiums, we're seeing a similar picture in the city, a 23% increase in price from $778,000 to just under $1,955,000. 9% decrease in the Snyderville Basin, kind of surprising to see that, but it did drop off a little bit there. But as we saw, a lot of transactions. Now we look at land. Land was up 9%, jumped 100,000 from $1,000,001 to $1,000,002 in the city limits, and up 15% in the Snyderville Basin, climbing to a new medium sold price for land, $605,000 from the previous $527,500. So again, another picture where we see prices overall going up, and we see that in many cases it's double digits, and it's as high as 29% over the previous year's figures. Wow, that's a hot real estate market. So it's time to look at the future, look at 2021, because that's what's ahead, and it's going to be a better year, no doubt. Throughout the pandemic, we've been talking about the Park City real estate market, and about 6 months in, once we kind of got past the ghost town period of time, and things started to pick up, at least in the primary home market and in the secondary home market, I presented a 24-month timeline. This is it behind me. And it kind of broke what we expected would happen into 7 phases. The discovery phase, the shutdown phase, the reopen phase, the success or setback phase, and we've felt that for sure. We're now in the treatment and vaccine phase, and we're also in the setback phase. It's really been a tough time here. And then eventually we're going to get to the new normal with the vaccine, but it's taken a little while to get that out there. On our website, BuyParkCity.com, I have a webinar where I describe this outlook in detail and what the market has done. I created this first in July of 2020, and then I updated in October of 2020. And if you want to go watch that, it's go to BuyParkCity.com/COVID-19 update, and it goes into details. It's been pretty accurate. I'll do a slight tweaking of it as we're in the new year, but it gives you a picture of where things are going. As we're now moving into the new year, we really want to talk about where things are going with our predictions for Park City in 2021. And to do this, I've gathered my team together. We've got Jeremy Wilstein, my son, we've got Dean DeLeon, and we're going to talk about my predictions for the new year, and they're going to give you their thoughts on whether they think I'm on target or off target or what have you. So that's our next phase of this webinar. All right, let's turn our attention to predicting what's going to happen in 2021. Obviously, as we move into 2021, we're moving into a new administration, and time will tell exactly what that looks like, but it will be a change of some sort. So rather than taking any time there, let's focus on Park City and the real estate boom. It was created in 2020, and it was really created by COVID-19. Pandemic came in, Park City became a ghost town. Suddenly people who spent a minimum amount of time wanting to be here more, other people wanting to work remotely here, became very popular. Real estate market went explosive, first in the primary resident market and now really in every category: condos, rental type properties, investment properties, and land. So is that expected to continue? And I'll just lay out that I do expect it to continue, in part because the dynamics that triggered it haven't changed. We're seeing changes, which we're going to talk about in regard to COVID-19 and a vaccine, and market conditions, economy conditions, real estate conditions, but people still want to be in Park City. And so I believe that that's going to continue to flow into the new year. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree with you. The real estate boom that we've seen is really based on lifestyle, which we've talked about in the past, and getting to a spot that has a bit more space, nature and the outdoors are a bit more celebrated. Meanwhile, we still have nice restaurants and events to go to. Even during the pandemic, I was talking to one of the owners of a restaurant here in Park City, and he said that October was a record-breaking month for them in terms of sales. They beat out Sundance.
Oh my gosh.
We have October, which is usually our shoulder season, but with more people here in town, more people utilizing their second home, more people buying real estate, other sectors of our businesses have benefited as well.
Yeah, I agree. I expect it to remain strong. Inventory obviously is one thing. There's still high demand. We're working with a lot of buyers. There's not a lot to sell. So there's still that competition. But at the same time, the reason why we're still working with a lot of buyers is because people have prioritized their lifestyle and prioritize creating positive experiences with their friends and family. And I think that continues for many, many years, right? It's kind of a reflection on what we've been focusing on. And people really enjoy the outdoors here. They enjoy all the events that we have to offer. They enjoy the weather. And that's been prioritized in a lot of people's minds in getting those experiences. So why wouldn't that continue?
You know, I've lived here 33 years now, came here as a kid skiing, and what has always happened in Park City, in up markets, down markets, or what have you, is when people come to Park City, if they enjoy it, and most people do, they either come back or they invest here or they actually move here. And so those elements don't change. So I think you're right, Dean, there, that's going to continue to be the draw, even though we have major things happening in our country and on the globe that would normally have an impact. And I think it still will have an impact. So let's talk about the impact of vaccines. We've got treatments now, we've got vaccines, it's early. We're struggling through getting them into people's arms. And of course, we're hearing about some resistance to it. But based on the goal here to get over this pandemic, what effect do you think the vaccine is going to have? Generally speaking, I think it's going to be good. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, with this summer, fall, beginning of winter, our real estate market went crazy. We had a lot of new people moving to town. We had a lot of second homeowners. Instead of spending 1 or 2 weeks here, they have spent months and months and months here. And so they're starting to get a taste of what Park City has to offer, and they're really enjoying it. And the thing about this summer and this fall and this winter, frankly, is we had all our big events canceled. A lot of events that bring people into town. So I think when we get back and we have this vaccine and we're able to open up and have large events again, whether that's next summer or the summer following, then people are going to realize, wow, there's even more great things about Park City with all these fantastic events that we didn't even know existed. And now it's just even more fantastic. So I think that will continue with the Park City real estate market. And frankly, until we get more inventory, which we don't really have, I don't see this market slowing down much.
Yeah, Park City has a great community. We haven't really been able to show that community here during the boom. So whether it's somebody new that's moved, or that has moved here and hasn't been able to experience the events, you have the World Cup events during the winter where everybody gathers, watches the events, and celebrates together, and then all the concerts that you have in the summers, along with we really have a pretty rich arts culture here in Park City. That depends on people being able to go out and view it and gather, which has been canceled in the past year. And with the vaccine, we expect all that to open back up to bring a whole new perspective on what we have to offer.
Well, let's talk about the stock market. The stock market. Oh my gosh. So many terrible things have happened to people's lives, to businesses, and the stock market keeps going up and up and up and setting records. Historically, when people make money in the stock market, they invest in real estate and they invest in Park City. We've seen that over and over and over again, year after year. We've also seen when the stock market has gone down, people get jittery about the stock market and they pull their money out and they want to invest it in places like Park City because it's something that they can use and they get some benefits, not just stocks. So when I look at what's happened in the stock market, and it still boggles my mind that keeps going up as forcefully as it is, people have a lot of money to invest. And when people have had a lot of money to invest, they buy Park City real estate. That's what we've seen in the past. I got to believe it's going to keep happening. Again, it's going to add more to our challenge of limited inventory. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. We've seen, you went over all the stats. There was a large boom in Park City real estate, and that had to do with people that were able to move instantly, right? And make those purchases quick. I'm still working with, and I know Jeremy's probably still working with, and you, Ron, there's a lot of people that are looking and want to get all their ducks in a row before making a purchase, right? Which has to do with getting their stocks in line. So as far as the stock market booming and people coming to purchase, I think that continues.
Yeah, I sometimes scratch my head with what the stock market has been doing, but you know, it's, I don't know. But yes, I've had clients on both sides. Stock's doing well, they sell their stock, they purchase real estate. I've even had, you know, stock market seems to be falling, they sell, they get out. Hey, I want to get into real estate. I can't deal with this up and down, up and down. I've always seen it as a more stable investment. And the beauty of, you know, especially Park City real estate is the values can climb and climb and climb. But the nice part is you get to actually use your investment, sit in it, enjoy the lifestyle here. And I think people have really been enjoying that at a time of volatility in the stock market.
Yep. Well, the stock market, when you make money in the stock market, you got cash. And if you want to buy real estate, it's a lot easier to buy it with cash. You can negotiate better deals. And we know that more than 50% of our deals in Park City and Deer Valley are all cash deals. And so having that just means there'll be buyers who are able to purchase if they find the right property, and sellers who, if they want to sell, can make the deal. But we're in an environment of low interest rates. So let's talk about the relationship there. Not as important as most markets, bedroom communities, et cetera, across the country, because of 50% having cash and now more cash with the stock market. But let's talk about interest rates, guys, and different categories of the market and how they feed into it.
Yeah, well, man, historic low interest rates. I just got a quote to refi a property of mine, and it was like 2.65%, which I absolutely couldn't believe, because I thought when I bought it in 2011 or 2012 at 3.75, that was like the deal of the century. But now high 3% is not that great of an interest rate anymore. So, but with interest rates, the buying power and the ability to purchase a property at a higher price and have a similar monthly payment is fueling a lot of this. Even though only 50% of our deals are financed, it's still increasing buyers' buying power to purchase property here. And it makes people feel good that they're locking in a sub 3% interest rate for 30 years on an investment property. It's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, agree with all that. Interest rates are extremely low. On the flip side, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac have made some changes to what they're offering on some investment properties. They are not offering any financing options on properties that allow nightly rentals, essentially, which is a pretty big shift for a lot of properties that are in Park City. That's not to say there aren't still options for those properties. There are still plenty of options. But for our clientele or people watching our webinars, I do think that if this is a category that you fall in, it's important to reach out to us, contact us, find out what your options are. And talking with the lenders, each lender is going to have different options just because of different portfolios that they are working from and pulling those loans from. So I think it is important to be on top of that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dean. I know, last month in December, as you said, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they announced new changes to their guidelines of what condo projects, and especially condo hotels that have front desk check-ins. They allow nightly rentals. They look and feel like a hotel, but operate as a condominium. They made changes that they're not going to finance some of these properties, which we have a good number of them here in Park City. And as you alluded to too, Dean, we do have lenders that have portfolio options, so you can get financing for these condo projects. But that was a big change last month with our conventional financing, tightening up on condos that allow nightly rentals.
Let's talk about what the inventory is going to be. And my prediction is that it's going to remain limited. And the reason why is sellers are taking two positions and are likely to continue to do this. One is, I'm seeing the market increase double digits. I can make more money. I don't need to sell my property. So I'm going to hang on to my property and make more money down the road. And they may be right. And so those folks are making the decision to hang on, use it longer, or just wait because they see it in a climbing market. And statistically, that's exactly the market we're in. On the other hand, we have people who own properties and they're going, this is a wonderful opportunity to sell. I've gone through tough times. The value of my property has gone up. I can use this money in a different way. And for some, they might need to use it. Maybe their business has been impacted, whatever the reasons are. And so they want to seize the opportunity and they want to jump on this. And so real estate in an upward motion will always do that. It will give people opportunities to sell at higher prices than they could ever get before, just like the interest rates with being so low. On the other hand, others will want to wait to the top. So it's always a challenge. Nobody can ever buy at the bottom and nobody can ever sell at the top, but we always keep trying. So I think that's what I see happening. And those are the reasons why going into the new year, still tight inventory.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I have a number of clients that I've help them purchase real estate in the past, and now they're calling me and saying, "Hey, Jeremy, we want to, downsize. Our family's gone smaller, or we want to upsize, and we want to, capitalize on some of this this appreciation that we've experienced. What can I get?" And the difficulty with our low inventory is finding that next property for them to get. So I think that is what's holding inventory off the market, is people looking to exchange their property here in Park City. They're dealing with some low inventory, and so they're holding off on selling as well.
Yeah, I mean, inventory is at a historical low, right? I mean, it seems like we're always saying that, but now this is a much different situation, and it creates a very competitive environment for buyers. And some people are discouraged by that, but at the same time, we just have to stay on top of it. If your goal is to get a property in Park City, we've been successful in helping our clients achieve those goals. And just stay on top of it. The right property is going to come about. We got to be ready to make the purchase. And in those times, it's a little bit difficult to go back to what you're talking about, Jeremy, when you're exchanging a property, because if you have to exchange the property first. But in other situations, it's just stay on top of it.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, if you're looking for that dream Park City property, maybe you purchase a first step property here now to ride up that appreciation, and then as things may start to open up a little bit more, sell that property and buy that dream property you're looking for. But getting into the market, even if doesn't check every box, you'll be able to make some money on your investment and then maybe trade up to a different property in the future.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good properties, new construction, new developments, not directly in the middle of Park City or downtown Park City proper, but on the outskirts of Park City. A lot of new inventories going in. Which allows for you to experience all the same lifestyles as living in Park City at lower price points, because it's new construction, right? New construction, usually they want to sell them all off. They start off at a more reasonable price. There's not a lot of competition. There's more inventory to choose from in those developments. And I mean, in most situations, we do see those we are seeing those being acquired quickly, but there's a lot of opportunities.
Well, no discussion on predicting where the real estate market's going to go would be complete without talking about prices. They've been climbing, as we've already shown. Looks like they're going to continue to climb. I don't see it going down at all. Thoughts on price? What do you think? You agree it's going to keep going up? You think it will dip a little bit, giving some people opportunities to get in that maybe are waiting?
Take the basic economics, supply and demand. We have a huge demand right now for properties, and we have a limited supply. There's only one way the prices are going, and they're going up. So.
There's been a little bit of talk about a bubble, but there's not a whole lot of evidence that supports that we're going into a bubble, right? Previously, we were having faulty loans being given. That's what created the bubble, and that's when the bubble burst. People were getting money that they weren't supposed to have. We have a lot of restrictions set up to restrict that from happening. So that's not happening. And all the reasons why people are moving to Park City, none of those reasons are going away. More people are realizing that you can work from home, whether we're in a pandemic or not. That's a realization that you can do, and that's going to remain. A lot of people are going back to the office. As Jeremy alluded to earlier, we are 30 minutes from an international airport. An airport that did just open up 2 new terminals, remodeling another terminal, and which is bringing in more flights and more people to experience Utah. So the more people that experience Utah and see it, fall in love with it, going back to what Ron said when he moved here 30 years ago. So all those things, the lifestyle, the skiing, the mountain biking, the concerts, everything combined, there's no real reason why we can expect that we're in a bubble. And we're not at prices that you see other resort towns at, right? So we haven't peaked there either. But we do have more recognition, started more, I think, when Vail moved into town. They do more marketing. Vail's still here, marketing, and more people that hear about Park City, the more popular it becomes. We've seen it happen, and I expect that to continue.
let me just wrap up by sharing something that I sometimes will share with buyers who are feeling the resistance or the reluctance to buy in a rising market. And I liken it or think about the stock market where with stocks, you want to buy them low, and when you have to sell, you want to sell them high, and that's optimum. But there's a lot of good companies out there in the stock market, and you can buy stock when it's already gone up. And as long as it keeps going up, it's a good investment. You don't need to wait for the dips. So dips are great to buy on if you trade in the stock market. But if it's going to keep going up and you want to participate in it, particularly since it's not a stock, it's a place you can live. It's a place you can vacation with your family. It's a place you can create memories. It's very, very different. Then you don't need to buy it at the lowest possible price to participate in living the Park City lifestyle. You can buy it where it's at because the projection is it's going to go up. We've already said we don't see prices dropping. And so if you have to wait for the drop, you might miss out. That's my point. Not to overly push anybody, but we've had people, all of you guys have had this where they were here last year, the year before, and they're on the lifts and they're going, how much is that? And we tell them, and it's gone up by hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they kick themselves that they didn't buy. And it just keeps happening all the time. So I don't expect it to stop. So if you want to have a piece of Park City lifestyle or real estate here, don't let it scare you out, but step up because it's going up. Well, thank you for participating in our roundtable discussion and our webinar, and we hope this has been informative. Wish you the best, good health in the new year for you, for your family.
Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year's to everybody.
Thank you and Happy New Year.
Dean has something to say about his football team.
Go Browns, baby. First playoff win since 1994.
Woo!
Woo!
Dean's dad used to play center for the Browns, so he's fired up.
It's a hard life being a Browns fan, but it's paying off.
Thank you for participating in our Market Talk webinar and roundtable today. If you've got any questions whatsoever, you can email them to me or give me a call. Phone number is right here on this page, and my email is ron@thewilsteinteam.com. Teams here available to help you, whether you're thinking of buying or selling real estate or just curious about what's going on and changes here. So thanks for watching, and please bookmark BuyParkCity.com. Check it out. There's lots of good information there, and it's always being updated all the time.